Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to SevTech Ages. So we're picking back up from part 1. The episode ended up being so long that I had to cut it into 2 parts. So otherwise it was pretty long. So I do apologize, but anyways, we're going to be picking back up where we left off in part 1 and working with some of the basics of starting the Betweenlands alchemy, which is mainly the research aspects of it. There's a fairly decent time gap between starting Betweenlands alchemy and then actually brewing stuff, because there's a lot of research and stuff. That's actually what I'm doing right now, is going out and collecting plants to do research with. So anyways, let's go ahead and get back into it. Oh, and I was actually just looking, one thing I forgot to cover right here, the sickle. We should probably make one of these. These things are really nice. I was using the shears, which work for a lot of things, but not everything. So the sickle, it is advised that we make one of these. I'm going to make this one here out of Valinite. And there we go. There is our sickle. And then what this does is we can go up and we can harvest things just like we would with shears. So for example, I can do that. And get... But instead of getting the moss, you'll notice I'm getting this moss, which this one can be ground up. Okay, so instead of being this moss block item that we got with the shears, we're getting a different, what's called the plant item. I was totally forgetting about that part, the sickle. For some reason, I don't know, I'm losing my mind. So there we go, there's another item for us to use. And then next up, what we're going to want to make is 2 items here, the Infuser, which is a pestle, some octane. Okay, let's get that knocked out. And this thing is going to have to boil water, so what we're going to want to do is let's get ourselves some octane, and then let's get ourselves some moss. And we need the actual moss block, if I recall. But you can use any kind of moss, or I think thorns work too, actually. But we're going to set this up just right out here, I guess. Yeah, we'll put it like right here, because we are going to have to keep putting water in this, so it's advised that we set it up somewhere near water. But then what we can do is we can hold right click on this, and there we go. Pyromaniac Achievement, or Advancement, and we now have a fire source. And this is going... Oh, wait. You know what, though? I messed up. I messed up one thing. It's not going to burn on dirt, though. Not indefinitely. It will burn the moss up. But if we want it to burn indefinitely, there's one other thing that we're going to need, and that is peat. And I don't think that I actually have any peat at the moment. I don't think I ever grabbed any. Okay, let me go out and see if I can find some peat real quick. Okay, there's some peat. It grows inside these marshes. And by the way, what's funny is I went really far to find those marsh... those slimes and stuff. There's actually one of those biomes right over there with the mummies and stuff that we found last episode. Which really, now we could handle that like fairly easily with the boots, but we're going to make them even better. So, I don't have anything pressing that I need from that biome at the moment, or like any more at the moment. We're still going to need to go there, because I don't really have any way to move a mob and set up a sludge farm, I don't think. Not very easily anyways. Well, anyways, now that we've got our peat, what we can do is we can take this, we're going to break our swamp dirt, and we're going to replace it with peat. Then we can put our moss down on that. Hold right click with our octane ingot. And there we go. Quest for fire. And then what we can do is we can put our infuser right on top of our fire. Okay, I started to record a little bit, and then we had a server restart. And so we're just going to restart what I was doing. I've actually got 3 buckets here. We're going to go over what those are. So what we're going to do is let's get ourselves some ingredients. And I'm going to use... really the only ingredient that we're after is the stuff for the bulb cap mushrooms, because we're wanting a vial of Birganaz with 1 aspect in it. Okay? So what we're going to do, let's grab that, which has our Birganaz, and then we're going to have ground flat-headed mushroom and ground moss. Okay? Which ground moss, I've been scanning that, and just in case you're curious, it has Aswin, which is muscle, Yawen, which is health, and Selowin, which is stomach. Okay? So what we're going to do is our infuser set up here with our fire underneath it, and we're going to grab ourselves 3 buckets of our swamp water and just dump it into our infuser, and it's going to start heating up. It's going to start getting ready to boil. And then what we're going to do is this, and we're going to dump these items into our water. Okay, and then you can right click to start this. It's not boiling yet, so it's not really necessary that we stir it. But what you're going to do, which really we don't even have to stir it at the moment because we're not making a proper infusion, so we don't have to wait any period of time for it to infuse, which we'll get more into like a proper infusion next episode. The reason I'm not too worried about a proper infusion right now is because, well, if you take a look at like this, and you take a look at, say, Drought of the Unclouded, this has like 5 different aspects there. Well, chances are when we get 5 ingredients from the Betweenlands, they're probably not going to have those 5 aspects. You can hear it boiling right now. Blah, 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 blah sound. But chances are it's probably not going to have those 5 exact aspects. So we're probably not going to be making an actual infusion. But generally you're going to stir this to keep it from evaporating. Because what's going to happen is if it evaporates, if you recall those like those clouds of like evil death that fly around, and I said we're like pretty much unkillable, you might be able to kill them. I'm not 100% sure. I've never done it. I want to say in Divine Journey they were unkillable. I think I tried to fight one time. But if you let this stuff evaporate, there's a chance that one of those is going to spawn. But you really don't want that. Those things aren't any fun. So anyways, since we're not doing an actual infusion, we can just take our buckets and we can shift right-click this until all of our water's gone. And since I put 3 buckets of swamp water in there, I'm going to get 3 buckets back. And if you take a look at these, it says Simerite infusion bucket, infusion time is 0. That's because it's not a proper infusion. It hasn't had any time to infuse because it's not infusing. These ingredients are not coming together to make a brew that's going to do anything. And you can see ingredients are ground moss, ground flathead mushroom, ground bulbcap mushroom. Now initially you're going to be doing this. You're going to be breaking this stuff down into the purple liquid because we don't have the exact aspects that we're after. But later on we'll be able to make proper brews. We'll probably start doing that next episode. So now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make one more thing that is involved with the whole infusion process, and that is the alembic. Okay, this requires a green dendrithist and green dendrithist vials, and then crag rock and octane ingots. Now, I don't know, I've got 1 green dendrithist, but if you take a look here, we're going to need at least 3 per vial. And then we're going to need rubber balls, which that's why we got extra rubber earlier. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to go out and find ourselves some more green dendrithist. And also, if we can find orange dendrithist, that's good too. Orange is actually better once we get into infusions, and I'll explain why that is once we start getting into infusions. But a good place to start if you're looking for that green dendrithist is inside of these hollowed out stumps from the weedwood trees. Yeah, see there's some. It's not super common, and it can take you a little while to find the amount that you need for like a lot of, you know, alchemy stuff. Because as you can tell, I mean, I've gotten 3 pieces of this so far. From this was the tree I found the original green dendrithist in. Now there are the giant trees, and we've encountered them a couple times as we explore like the full scale giant trees. And those will have the dendrithist in them as well. So you can, you know, dig through those and grab your dendrithist in addition. You know what? I didn't bring any, I did not bring any cobblestone with me. That's fine. I've got the AIOT. Technically, that's enough to make our alembic, but I'm going to need more dendrithist. I'll probably just pop back through and go get some cobble, actually. This is also a great way to stock up on weedwood, because you're going to get a lot of it as you're digging around through here trying to find that dendrithist. So, you'll never run out of wood after you farm this stuff up. I was hoping to find some orange dendrithist, because there is an orange variant, but I haven't found any yet, which it's fine. It's found the same way. It will spawn inside of these very same places, either the giant trees or the giant tree stumps. You can get it out of either of those. It's fairly rare. You're not going to come across a lot of it. I mean, you can see I've already been tearing through this tree. I've got 9 green dendrithist. I've got 0 orange. So it's not terribly common at all. I will say these roots go down pretty far. So if you have the time and patience and a lumber axe, you can actually find quite a bit of this dendrithist as you dig down. Okay, there's the bottom of the tree. And it leads right down into a cave, of course. But anyways, I've got enough green dendrithist for right now. I have 14. I'm going to be farming up a bit more of this and trying to find some orange, you know, over the course of the weekend. Because we'll pick back up with alchemy next week, I imagine. There might be one episode, because I know there's been some requests for me to cover the elevators, and I want to get into those. So we might be doing some elevator stuff, which will actually work well, because I'm going to be working on the totems, doing chisels and bits over the weekend. So there might be an episode this weekend covering the elevators. But as far as the alchemy system, we probably won't continue on with this until next week. So, but there's a few green dendrithist vials. Let me go ahead and get like another 2 crafts of these. And then for our alembic, we're going to need one of those vials, a piece of green dendrithist, and a couple pieces of crag rock. There is our alembic. Oops. And then we can just set this thing down, and I'm just going to put it, you know, right over here. It looks really cool. I love the stuff from Betweenlands. It all looks really, really good. And so then what we can do is we can take and we can dump our Symarite infusion buckets into this. And you can see that's going to start running. Okay, and basically what it's going to do is it's going to distill the fluid that came from this process. And it does take a little while for this to run. Ideally, I wouldn't mind having more than one of these. Actually, I've got the stuff on me. I'll craft up another one. Because I plan on doing quite a bit with infusions as we move forward within the series. So I would like to have a few of these because I'm going to be doing a big setup, and I'm going to show you something really cool that makes this stuff just amazing. Like, it looks so good. I'll show you here in just a second. And by the way, your like moss and octane and your infuser and all that, that should work in the overworld just fine. I'm planning on actually setting up our brew setup, because I know the Betweenlands on the server, it causes a bit of TPS lag when we're in here, and I'm going to be setting mine up in the overworld for making brews, like a nice brew room, because this stuff is going to be really useful as we move forward. Like for example, like Elixir of Healing is super easy to craft. Your potency and duration is going to depend on some things. We'll get into those once we get into the infusion. You can actually read about them here. You can make them stronger and make them last longer, but Elixir of Healing only requires health and enhance, which we've already discovered those 2 aspects, right? And Elixir of Healing, it's going to give us a natural regen for a while, and they can actually become fairly strong. Stronger than the vanilla potions. They take a little bit more effort to craft, yes, but they end up being a bit better in the long run. Now you'll notice down there, you can actually see the amount of liquid in this. You can see it's starting to go down, and it's going to display, I mean, you can't even see the liquid from over here, really. And you can see this little jar is filling up. That is basically the distilling process. So this is almost done. It does take, I want to say it takes probably about 2 or 3 minutes to distill. So I wouldn't mind having a number of these alembics. Honestly, I wouldn't mind having like 10, 15 in a good setup, and maybe, you know, maybe 3 or 4 infusers, so we can have multiples running at the same time and infusing liquid. It would be kind of handy. And then there's like the Elixir of Feasting, which will take care of your hunger. Also very useful. I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff. It's not just like standard vanilla type potions either. Like, there's some really cool stuff, like Drought of Sagittarius is going to show you where your arrows will land, like what path they're going to take and where they're going to land. So it's really good for, you know, not accustomed to a bow or something like that. You're not for sure where you're going to be hitting. It's very, very useful. There's Elixirs of Strength. Ripening is the one that does the decaying. And reverses decay, so we wouldn't even have to have like sap anymore. Okay, this one has stopped running. You can see the smoke particles have stopped coming out of this alembic. And so then what we can do is we can take our green dendrithist vials and we can right click this, and you can see it just dropped one on the ground, it consumed one, and we got one with Aswin. And it's 0.28 Aswin in it. Then we can right click again, and there's one with Yawin. And then we can right click once more, and there's one with Selwyn. We have 0.01 Selwyn in it. Ordanis. Okay, so that was the one with the moss, which I think the moss had like 3 aspects or something. So we have Birganaz, Ordanis, Selwyn, Yawin, and Aswin. What we can do with these vials, and this is where part of the decoration is going to come in. Basically, this is kind of like Thaumcraft's Essentia system, but it looks so much cooler because it doesn't have those big ugly jars. What we can do is these jars that we've started filling up, and this is going to be really crowded, but hopefully this will be gone by the next episode that we're working on this. But what we can do is we can shift right click and we can place these things on the ground. And you can see up at the top there, what are we looking at? You can actually see the amount of each aspect that's inside of these vials. And we can just go through and we can place all 5 of our different aspect vials down. And so what I'm thinking is we'll have like shelves with like different aspects. Each of these vials can hold up to 5 of a given aspect. And then let's go ahead and get our other bucket running. And then we're going to go ahead and clean out this alembic. So we'll just go ahead and quickly right click through that and grab all 5 of these. And then what we can do is, like this one is Yawin. We can right click and you can see it's taking about 0.1 of that aspect at a time. And then if we want to pull aspect out of this, what we can do is shift. Well, I think it's shift right click. Yeah. And you can see we got 0.11 Yawin. And then if it has Yawin in there, it'll keep filling it. It doesn't keep dropping it on the ground. And then if we were to completely empty this, it's just a green Denthyrthus file. And then of course we can right click and add that back. So we can kind of move our aspects back and forth between our vials. And then we have our Aswin. And then let me go ahead and dump another bucket in there, so that one can start breaking down. Okay, so Birganaz is what we actually needed to upgrade the boots, right? So let's go ahead. We can just break this. It saves its liquid. It has 1.74. If you look at the recipe for the rubber boots, it says 1. Okay, what that means is it's going to take 1 serving, or one cup of this liquid. You can just dump it, by the way, and just get nothing back, you know, like empty out the vial. But what we can do is we can take our rubber boots and make boots of the Marsh runner, and you'll notice that it consumed 1 of our Birganaz. So we still have 0.74 left in that vial. Okay, and the boots of the Marsh runner are basically just upgraded rubber boots. These are the ones that I thought we had to get for us to be able to run over mud. And what boots of the Marsh runner do, they still give us the slow protection. I was thinking these were the ones that we had to have for the slow protection when we're running on mud. But then in addition, they do what they say. Boots of the Marsh runner, we can actually run on the top of water. Now you'll notice as the farther I run on the water, I'll get slower, and then eventually I'll sink. So you really only have about 1.5 seconds roughly of walking on water. And it will slow, it will start to slow down, but it's still kind of handy. Definitely worth making. I quite like these boots. And it's kind of just like upgraded version. It's going to be nice for if I go there hunting peat mummies and stuff. It's going to be easier to get away because I have 1.5 seconds-ish to get through that water, whereas the peat mummy will be slowed down. And as per usual, I'm going to stick a green gem on that. So I just wanted to show you guys how to make that. It's actually kind of a nice piece of equipment for Betweenlands. Okay, now, I see that Alembic is done. I'll deal with that whenever I get back. But now it is time for us to go tackle a dungeon. The next dungeon in our Betweenlands tour, right? So that White Fortress. And I know this episode's going to be running long, but hey, it's Friday, and I hope you guys enjoy. It's going to be a long episode. But I've been so hooked on SevTech, if you can't tell. I've been so hooked on it. And like I said, this weekend, of course, we've had like, 3 or 4 days in a row of just back-to-back episodes. This weekend, I am going to take a short break from that, from the back-to-back episodes, do a bit of building, and then we'll get back into the Betweenlands next week. But like I said, we may do an elevator episode, working on elevators this weekend. So, okay, so the White Castle. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to get an advancement as we approach this place. I have a feeling. So before we enter, I want to switch up a couple things here. Let me make some alterations to my loadout. Okay, I'm going to grab our Hag Hacker. Grab that. And I'm also going to want our Wight's Bane. Also very, very useful. And then our Swift Pickaxe for breaking those spawners. See, this place we're going to get serious about. So enter the Stronghold Advancement. And there's a door, yeah, like right here. There's doors on each corner part of this. Okay, now this place, yeah, you can see a monster spawner. There's actually quite a few of them. But the Hag Hacker is going to make short work of these guys for us. And there's pots of chance around here. Oh, man. Yeah, you can kill these guys. Yeah, there we go. That's how it's done. I did not realize that you could kill them. I'd never, I guess, tried very effectively. Alright, so what do we got here? Sulfur. And we're gonna check out the corner rooms first, and then we're gonna go into the center and check out that room. There's actually a hidden passage there. A hidden room. Go ahead and light this up a little bit. There should be, I think, one more spawner on this floor, I think. And by the way, like that other dungeon, we can't break the blocks here until we clear the dungeon. Then we'll be able to break the stuff. Okay, yeah, maybe there was just the one spawner. That's fine. Okay, so what we can do, the hidden room, and it is very hidden because this is something that you would never normally do. Oh, would you die already? And I'm using this sword because really it's higher damage than our other sword. But okay, so right over here, there's Stagnant Water. Normally, you don't want to mess with this stuff because what it does is it drains out very, very quickly, might I add. It drains all of your decay bar. But what we're going to do is we're going to stand in this. And look at that. We can actually step through to a hidden room underneath this. Now, I'm not going to worry about my decay right now until I get back up there. But we have blocks of Valenite, we have pots of chance, blocks of Symarite, and then we have blocks of octane, more pots of chance, lots of good stuff, lots of blocks of Valenite, which is very, very nice to just be a freebie, basically just for walking in this place, more or less, because you really don't have to clear very much to get this. I love this pick, by the way. This pick pretty much makes dungeoning super easy in the Betweenlands because you can break those spawners instantly, and it should work with the overworld spawners too. I really should have dumped out that weed wood, but if worse comes to worse, I'm just going to toss the stuff. Try to keep a bit of space in our inventory and everything. Let's get up out of here. And guess what? That's why I saved this blue petal. Is so that when we got here, we could quickly just pop this thing and let our decay regenerate itself. Because I didn't want to have to mess with that. Okay, now to get up, I can't remember, is there a staircase? Okay, I found the entrance. It's on the outside. There's a stairway right here. So, in this place, this floor, there's termites that spawn, of course. And, let's see, I want to say there's a spawner around here somewhere. There's one. Okay. There we go. And you'll notice lots of, like, really nasty things. I'm going to clear the floor first. Okay. There we go. That thing's dead. We definitely want to clear those out ASAP, of course. And then our pots of chance and our termites. Give me them. Oh, I want that seed. We're going to be using those Spectra Seeds here pretty quickly. Those things are awesome. If you get into like brewing potions and you're really serious about brewing potions, save your Spectra Seeds. or whatever. Like, spirits try to grab you. I think. That's what that thing is. Yeah, see? Creeping. I totally... You can tell it's like my first time, like, personally, like, going through this. They're so creeping, right? Man, I'm getting a ton of Spectra Seeds, which is awesome. These things are going to be, like I said, invaluable as we move forward. Okay, so on to the next floor. Oh, this is the one. This place is filled with traps, and this is the one with weak blocks, like right there. And the only way to get across this, well, I thought you could sneak across it. Driving me insane. It's driving me insane. Oh, come on. All right. So our first weedwood chest. Nothing too elaborate inside of there. You can see how much sap you get out of these places, though. Okay, so... do we want to go this way or this way first? I don't know. Probably this way. Really? I didn't think I could fall through those blocks, but maybe so. Oh, I'll tell you what. We'll do it that way, then. Thank goodness for the longsword. Alright, what do we have in this one? Another hag hacker, which I'm going to start dumping some of this stuff. Because I've got way too much just junk on me at the moment. And I'll just dump it in there. We got a pot of chance with marshmallows. Those are useful. We'll definitely hold on to those. Okay, and there's another room. There's actually like 2 more rooms. And I want to check all these out. Yeah, I can see here's another weedwood chest. Look at all the item scrolls that we're getting. This place is pretty much, as you can tell, unbeatable for loot. And then... oh, see, that's what it is. They break behind you. I was thinking you had to sneak over them for whatever reason. No, you need to run over them quickly, is what it is. Just don't stop. Just keep on moving. Okay, on to the next floor, which is right here. And guess what? Filled with wights. So we're going to use our sneak and kill method for these guys. Oh. Oh. See, we're getting up there. There's a boss at the top of this, by the way. Alright, so let's... that's the trap room, the puzzle room. Alright, let's go ahead and clear this place out first, before we worry too much about the loot. Die. There you go. You die. Oh, this one. All these termites, but they're bigger termites, so I guess there's that, at least. And you can see where the wight slicer and stuff, super useful here. Oh, cryo. Okay. And let's break these off. Get lots of loots. Oh my gosh, we are just filling up on loot. Okay, what do we got here? This stuff I'll take. I don't really need the cryo wings. Those things you don't use enough to really necessitate hoarding them. There's got to be a spawner up there just spawning cryo malls, whatever. Whatever they be. Alright, what do we have here? Stop it. I swear there's got to be a spawner around here. Yeah, there's just way too many of them to not be a spawner. DJ White's hot new mixtape, Rave in a Cave. And then we got item scrolls. We got a sludge slicer. Oh, man. Forbidden Fig. Look at that healing. Or that hunger. It 10% on fruit, and it heals decay. Yeah. We're going to take it. Look at all the item scrolls we've got here. Stop it. Leave me alone. Okay, all this stuff is going in here. And getting left behind. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, now right here you'll notice there's like spiked floors. this is the puzzle room. And I'm pretty sure I've got another cryo mob. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to get across this spike trap. And... oh, that hurt me. Okay, I'm going to stand on this. And what we're supposed to be doing is these right here, these item cages. We need to break these. Maybe stand right beneath them. There we go. Stand right beneath them and then break them. Okay, so then that piece goes into the middle. And what it is, we're trying to... these cryo moths are going to be a nuisance. But don't run over these when they're open unless you just want to take damage. I'm just taking it because our armor's good enough to handle it. And then we'll break this one. You could actually break the floor up there. Oh, it's weak polished limestone, that's why. Okay. Oh, you are just obnoxiously annoying. And then... there we go. And you'll notice that's one thing that this does not break instantly. And then one last cage. There we go. And that's going to go into the middle. And what it's creating is that right there. The Shockwave Sword. Okay. This is the sword to end all swords. And I'll show you why here in just a little bit. Okay. So now that we've got that... oh wait, did I not pick it up? There we go. Glorified toothpick. Okay. Man, these cryo moths, they need to go. Shockwave Sword. It says right click on the ground to create a shockwave. It does in fact create a shockwave, and it's really, really cool. Okay, so now that we've got that, we need to go up another level, and I need to put this on my hotbar because we are going to need it. Oh gosh. So many cryo moths. So many of them. Okay, so we got to get up there. And I was thinking there's a staircase right here. We're going to have to go up through Pyromaniac territory and ascend this building. Okay, there's the... of course. Of course, it's weak tiles. That's like the one thing that you can actually break inside of this dungeon. By the way. Ah. Well, at least they can't spawn anymore. At least there's that. So once they're all dead, they're dead. Okay, so anyways, there's a chest here with stuff in it. And I really don't need this weak polished limestone. Could be fun to mess with people, though. Amulet socket, nothing too stand out. The main thing I wanted out of here was the Shockwave Sword, to be perfectly honest. And then the item that the boss drops that allows us to equip additional amulets. I also want that quite a bit. Okay, now there's a sign here. It says, only the Sword Keeper may pass this point. That means we have to have the Shockwave Sword. So what we can do is if we hold this in our hands... oh, let me actually heal up real quick. And my nutrition is good on everything but fruit. Let me switch this out. Okay, so for this, I'm going to go ahead and switch boots. There is a chance you can get knocked off the tower, but he just teleports you right back up if you get knocked off. And I think we're all set. Let me go ahead and eat just a little bit more of this. Make sure we're topped off on hunger, and let the games begin. We need to make sure... I'm going to go ahead and actually put away... let's see. I'm going to put away the... Hag Hacker, and I'm going to get our Valknight's Sword in case we need to heal, because there's not going to be any hags in this fight. There is going to be wights, so I do want to keep that on our bars. And we'll get Sludge Jello just in case our decay happens to... something happens with our decay or something. And Shockwave Sword, we're going to need that. We'll have this. And that, I guess. Okay, let's do this. Hopefully this all works well. Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. For when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you. And see that eye right there? If we stare at that eye for very long, it's so cool. I love this so much. So this is the boss, the Primordial Malevolence. Okay, and you notice we have a very small platform to fight him on. This is a very painful fight. Okay? Don't step in those blue triangles. They hurt whenever he drops those on the ground. And he's going to teleport around. And what we're waiting for him to do is shoot some bullets. And if he summons wights, just stab them. Okay, right here. See those... Oh, man. I didn't get it. Which actually, you know what? This shield may not cut it. Because I believe we have to right-click this, the green bullets. You have to snag the green bullets and throw them back at him. Okay, there we go. You have to left-click them and then aim them. Okay. I was thinking it was right-click for whatever reason. So these white heads... Man, the timing. The timing is legit. But you'll notice it's not too bad. It does get a little bit crazier towards the end. But right now, this first phase isn't too bad. It's kind of like... They keep hitting me with the other bullets. Okay, got one of them. And then I throw it at him and it knocks one of his shields off. Okay, and you can't hit him... There he is. See? And the more shields you break off, the easier he gets. And he's actually really good practice for the Twilight Lich. It's a little bit slower paced of a fight, but there's a little bit more to it as far as mechanics go. There we go. Let's knock one of those off. You stop. I'm trying to damage your boss. Okay. Yeah. So we got a little bit of damage on him there. And you will notice, I mean, this fight takes a little bit, so I'll probably end up editing some of this out. But... Oh, didn't even see the whiteheads. I didn't even see them back there. The bullets aren't dealing too much damage to me. And this is actually a good place to spawn, to farm whiteheads, or whitehearts too. Okay. There we go. It's so hard to hit. Like, until you get the shields broken off. I think I've broken off like 3 so far. I was only able to get like 1 hit that time. Of course, he did land like right on the corner piece there. I am getting a ton of White's Heart though. Oh my gosh, my timing is so off at the moment. I don't know if it's like, you know, it could be because I'm on a server, of course, but it could also just be I have really bad timing. I don't know, one or the other. That pyramid's getting bigger. And I don't love it. Oh my gosh, that wight got the orb that I just threw. Okay, steadily breaking shields. He's still got quite a few of them though. This take is taking a while. But I think my timing is starting to get a little bit better, but I figure I'm going to cut quite a bit of this out. Just because it is taking a bit. Ah, and he does that. And that's so frustrating. By the way, if I didn't mention it already, you can only grab the green orbs. And the blue ones just hurt you. Okay. Where's he at? And the whites. That's another very frustrating thing, is when the whites get your orbs. There we go. Come on. Ah, get it. Okay. I'm starting to get a little bit more damage on him because when he lands, I'm able to hit him pretty effectively for a minute. Instead of hitting his shields the whole time. And look at that timing. Oh, you... I'm busy. I'll deal with you in a minute. Okay. I managed to get like 1 hit on him that time. Yeah, see, like one whole side of his shield is gone at this point. He is very much a mechanics fight. Above all else, I'd say. Get down here. Come on. Come on. Some of those hits have got to be landing. Well, that's what happens when you get knocked off, by the way. You get, like, a little bit of blindness for a minute. But he pulls you back up on there. He does the same thing to the wights. He actually gives them blindness, too, which is kind of funny. Ooh, I'm getting the hang of this. I'm so getting the hang of this right now. Okay, yeah, don't stand in that. It doesn't do a ton of damage. I mean, that's one thing. This boss isn't like a super heavy hitter. You just kind of have to figure out the mechanics, learn them, and then it just bring a lot of food, just so you, until you get the hang of the mechanics. Get it. Get it. Okay. Yeah, he's starting to get low health. He's about 25% right now. And you have, by the way, you have to use the Shockwave Sword. I don't know if I mentioned that either. You do have to use the Shockwave Sword to grab the orbs. And there we go! Staring contest. And look at this. This is pretty cool. Bunch of XP, by the way. It kind of has like a custom death animation. And look at this. We have an epic shader grab bag. And we got an amulet slot. Woot. Okay. Alright. And then to get back down... Do we just jump? Oh, and I got a ring of recruitment. Grants the power to recruit enemies. Alright. Good stuff. Okay, let's get... yeah. I was thinking that there was a... You know what? I actually forgot one hidden room, too. Now that I think about it. Oh, my Valinite headpiece took some damage. I'm going to have to get that thing repaired. And, of course, we get to keep the Shockwave Sword and all that. Okay, so back down here on the bottom... I think it's on the bottom floor, right? Let's see. Right here. See how these are between stone? And this one is between stone bricks? If you look right here, right there, you'll notice it says between stone brick mirage. Then on the other side it says brick mirage. We can actually step through that. And there's a double chest with loots in it. Lots and lots of loots. Okay, now I'm going to head back. I mean, I have like no inventory space at the moment. My headpiece is breaking. And I started really getting the hang of the fight there towards the end. I was really getting the hang of it. So, I mean, it's really just a mechanics fight. Once you learn it, once you get it down, it's really not too bad. But it's just, it's kind of, it takes a minute to get used to it. So, just a heads up. So, take lots of food with you and come prepared. It's not a high damage fight. I mean, if you have that Valinite with the green gem, you can definitely pull it off. Okay, so let's check out our loot. Alright. Epic Shader Grab Bag, everybody knows what that does. I'm not going to go over that. But the Shockwave Sword. Alright, it's a pretty decent damage. It is slightly corroded right now, and we will purify it next episode, I promise. But right-click to create a Shockwave. Watch this. This is really, really cool. Look at that. And it actually damages enemies. And will knock them... It basically damages all enemies in its path and sends them flying. It does quite a bit of damage to them. And this thing can be repaired in the animator. And whenever it breaks, it doesn't actually break. You know, even without... Like, I know this one has the thing where, like, nothing breaks. But even without that, by default, it just doesn't break. You just take it back to an animator and repair it. And then, in addition, we got the... Amulet Slot. This thing right here. Let me actually pop my headpiece into there and get that repairing. So this Amulet Slot, what this does is we can right-click it, and it says added a new Amulet Slot, and then we can right-click it again, and it says added a new Amulet Slot again. Okay, now I actually mentioned this one last episode. So right now we have a blue gem. Let's make a green and a red amulet. Let's get ourselves some reed rope. And we're going to make ourselves 2 of these amulets. And we'll apply red gem and a green gem. Oh, we right-click them. There we go. You can see that we now have all 3 amulets equipped. If we look at our character, you can see that all 3 gems are spinning around me. And we have effects from all 3 schools now in place. I love this thing. It's so good. It really, really is. And it looks like I'm just about out of sulfur. I'm getting low on sulfur at the moment. So now we have effects from all 3 amulets. And we're going to have those 3 amulet slots until we die. Now, if we die, we are going to have to pop that amulet slot again. And it's got... we could do that like basically 3 times. So until I get mending on this, which we can put mending on it, like I said, and then we can mend it. And just anytime we die, or you know, pop it and get our amulet slots back. So we can always have 3 amulets moving forward, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be very, very useful. And this life crystal does not have enough. That's fine. I've got white hearts somewhere about... See, I got 30 of the things now. So I can easily just repair our life crystals thanks to that boss. He gave us enough to repair everything. So anyways, now we have all 3 amulets. I mean, that's a huge boost, right? Because we're going to be healing, we're going to be getting more absorption, we're going to be getting the strength increase and the thorns effect. Like, it's going to be really, really nice having all 3 of these amulets. It pretty much makes us pretty OP. That's not to say we're not going to still die, because it can still happen, but as long as we don't die too much before we get mending on this thing, we'll be alright. Okay, one other thing that I would like to do, because this is actually very, very last minute. I'm recording this the morning of the day that this episode's going to come out. But anyways, Severe got on today, and he had been watching a stream from Dark, and something I did not know. I was out farming Guardians. You can see I've got some Prismarine and some Prismarine crystals. By the way, they're super easy. With all 3 gems, like, they can't even hurt you. Like, even just smacking on them with their spikes out, doesn't matter. Beat them to death, and, yeah. it's a joke. It's an absolute joke at this point. But anyways, if we were to craft ourselves 4 sea lanterns, okay, these are actually interchangeable with glowstone. We can get a tier 3 altar in Age 2 now, thanks to that. Because, like I said, I've already got the runes already placed. And if we were to put down sea lanterns, which actually I think these look better with the build than glowstone would anyways. So I'm really, really, really happy about that. I didn't realize we could use sea lanterns in like post 1.10, I think it is. But yeah, so we can use sea lanterns. And so now, which I do apologize about my inventory, I have been building. I have been building away. And I may even show you guys a sneak peek of what I've been building here in just a second before we end up the episode. So let's pull this out. Let's grab our sigil. And if we take a look here, our divination sigil, that's strange. The divination sigil doesn't show your rank when it's inside of the rune of holding. But anyways, you can see up there at the top left, it is a rank 3 altar now. So that means we have access to all these runes and all 20 of the runes that are under the floor around through here, which is going to be super nice for moving forward with blood magic. That also means I'm going to get more live points when I self-sacrifice now. So let's do that. Here we go. Pow! I know it overkills it like a crazy amount. And we can't hold anywhere near that many live points. Okay, so the main thing that I want with this right now is I want the Tome of Peridia. Because we have a lot of XP levels. We have 63 from killing that boss. But anyways, what we're going to need is 2 imbued slates. Do I have any smooth stone down here? No, I do not. Okay. Okay, so up here I've got scrolls of Smite. That's the only ones I've gotten so far. But these should actually work. So that, because I know it's not going to shift click in. Let's see. Yeah, string at the top. Our 2 imbued slates and our apprentice blood orb. And there we go, our Tome of Peridia. Awesome. And what we can do with this is we can, is it shift? Yeah, shift right click. If we hold this, it's going to take XP levels from us. And then if we hold right click, it's going to add XP levels. Okay, so I can store up all of my XP, all but 63 levels, so that whenever we reach the next stage, a long time from now, we're going to have a lot of XP built up. So there we go. Yeah, level 63 on this book right now. Awesome stuff, and that means, yeah, we're going to be building XP up, and I'm going to you know, kind of keep it saved away. And I definitely don't want to lose like our 63 levels there if we can avoid it. There's a lot of other stuff I want from the tier 3, or a few things that I would like to get from the tier 3 blood magic. I mean, a lot of it is kind of limited to us, but you know, maybe a better Tartaric gem would be nice. The next one requires, yeah, just imbued slate, shadow gem, block of gold. So I'll probably get that crafted. Probably gonna do some of this stuff off camera. And I also have to craft some more sigils as well, which I'm going to do those off camera. Since we have access to that, I do want to get the water sigil. That doesn't actually require the tier 3. And I also want to get the void sigil. Both of those are handy. And then I would like to get the sigil of magnetism. It's pretty nice. And the sigil of haste. Pretty sure we can make... it says milk is unfamiliar, but that actually doesn't matter, in truth, because you can use unfamiliar items, you just can't place them. Like, I can put them into a cauldron, and I can get buckets of milk without any kind of issue from the cow. So we could do that. Yeah, and I think that's the main thing. So, I want to get the water sigil, the void sigil, and the sigil of magnetism and haste. Anyways, we got a tier 3 blood altar now. I have access to all the runes, and I can make new sigils and stuff like that. If you want just a sneak peek of what I'm working on, and this is very much in the works, the alchemy stuff that we were covering this episode, and then, you know, the part 1, I started expanding on it. I brought and set up a rubber tree log with the Siremarite buckets. There we go. Of course, these, you get to keep reusing the bucket, and whenever you smelt it, basically you get a smelted bucket, then you can pop the rubber out and then put the bucket back up there. I don't know why I was using the weedwood ones earlier, but... And then I have liquid storage over here. The main one that I need is swamp water, which this water, you know how this type water is only infinite in the ocean and rivers? Swamp water is infinite anywhere, so that's actually kind of useful. And then my geckos, which keep dying from all the testing that I've been doing on them. And then over here we have our alchemy room for, you know, the alembics and then the mortar and pestles, and then all of our different aspects. I got one more. I found it. I just have to go out and get it. And then we have ingredients, and these are all alphabetized. So I'm actually using this list right here. So I'm only missing about 5 things. And one of them I'm going to wait for probably the next episode, or whenever we cover alchemy, so we get the advancement for finishing out the herb lore book. You don't actually need all the ingredients, but it's nice just to be like a master of herb lore in the Betweenlands. But anyways, oh, and then I did get some orange dendrithist, and I got a bunch of green dendrithist. I made green dendrithist windows and everything. So just kind of a sneak peek. I've been working on this for a bit, and I started working on that, which I'm actually going to change this up quite a bit. I changed my mind on how I wanted to do it. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and even though it was pretty long, long enough I had to split it into 2 parts, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay up to date with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.